Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday. And this little episode is called Evil plus Time equals Good. Evil plus time equals good. Notes on evil plus time. Fact. God created evil. Isaiah 45:7. Fact. God created time. See Hebrews 1, verse 2. See Colossians 1:16. Fact. God has a purpose in doing all this. Ephesians 3:11. Imagine the nightmare we'd have if God wasn't the one who created evil. What if God is not in total control? Oh my goodness, then you'd have like the nightmare of Christianity. Where things don't turn out so well. Okay. We should understand right up front that evil is not necessarily moral. You see, falling out of a tree is an evil experience. Evil is the opposite of good, of course. But what if you add time to evil? What do you get? Why, you get a whole different picture. Evil plus time equals something good, as I see it. Scientists say that 10 million years ago an asteroid hit the Earth and wiped out all the dinosaurs. I'm sure those dinosaurs thought that was evil. But that was so long ago, yet no one today is crying over the matter. Evil plus time. Noah's flood wiped out a lot of people so long ago, yet no one is upset about it today. Evil plus time. The Titanic went down about 100 years ago. Evil plus time. In 1974, Pam Todorov dumped my butt and ran off with a biker dude. I cried then, but not now. Evil plus time. I think you can define evil as something we think that should not happen, but it does. So what is evil? It's something that should not happen, but it does. Do you see? It's just a definition now. It shouldn't happen, but it does. Oh my. You should not fall out of a tree, but sometimes it happens. And sin and evil are not the same thing. Sin and evil are not the same thing. Sin is missing the mark. Remember that tribe of left-handed guys in the Old Testament from the tribe of Benjamin? Scripture says they could hit the target within a hair's breadth and not sin. Now, the reason we are confused is because the King James Version says they could hit the target and not miss. Okay, so the word miss and the word sin, you should, adjust them in your mind to be the same thing, because you got to try in order to sin. Try and fail, that is. You got to try and fail. You have to try to hit the mark, but then you miss the mark. All right, so God created time and God controls evil. And when God blends time and evil, some good things happen. Just give it time and you'll see. Now, I have a bum leg, and it's an inconvenient evil, but lots of folks thank God on a daily basis that I have a bum leg, where they know for sure that I'd kick their ass, and they deserve it. The greatest evil in the history of time was putting God's boy on the cross. Oh my God, that was also the greatest good in the history of time. And I'm humbled and honored and hopeful now about that matter, about the whole story of it all. The greatest evil in the history of time was putting God's boy on the cross, and the greatest good in the history of time was putting God's boy on the cross. All right. Random notes on a lousy cup of coffee this morning. In him, grace to you. And here's a postscript that I wrote. Time is a measure of change. Things are different today than they were last Wednesday because time is a measure of change. If there were no change, we could not have a measurement to call time. Before God began creating, before God began creating, time did not exist. God was all, and there was no change, therefore there was no time. But when change began, when creation began, change began. Christ, the firstborn of all creation, Colossians 1:16, then time began to measure all the change. And at the end of time, when God is all in all, and thus nothing more will change because God is finally all in all, as we understand it, change will cease and time will cease. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll try to do better next time.